I'm disappointed because there's significant bipartisan support for the Keystone. There's not that many things we actually have 60 votes on, which means a significant amount of Democrats supported this bill. So it's disappointing that he didn't decide to actually see if we could move forward for something that most of the country is for.
That's Rand Paul on Keystone. Our Fox polling a month ago showed 68% of Americans favor it. It's now been vetoed, and the House Speaker with some harsh words for the president. A project that was started 6 years ago hit a brick wall. Boehner writes this, quote, "The president's veto of the Keystone jobs bill is a national embarrassment. It's embarrassing when Russia and China are plowing ahead on two massive pipelines, and we can't get this one no-brainer of a project off the ground." Karl Rove, former Deputy White House Chief of Staff to President George W. Bush and a Fox News contributor. How are you, Karl? Good morning to you in Austin, Texas. I know you've got a whiteboard. You're going to show us a little bit of geography in a moment. Do you think the president was ever on board the Keystone pipeline at any point in this process?
You know, no, but that doesn't mean he isn't in favor of pipelines. In 2009, he approved the Alberta Clipper, which is a pipeline that comes from the same tar sands, comes out of Canada, comes into the United States at the northwestern corner of Minnesota, connects to Duluth, connects to Chicago, moves over through Michigan, connects into Canada, and links up with pipelines that take the tar sands to the East Coast. In fact, Philadelphia, the refineries around Philadelphia have been renewed by their access to these tar sands oil. He's also not stopping the oil from coming. It is coming to the United States, but it's coming on rail cars, which have a bigger adverse environmental impact and which are far less safe than pipelines. So the president, it's not only embarrassing, it frankly is stupid that the president is not doing this.
Well, do you see him as an environmentalist, or was he convinced by those within his administration? I mean, what do you think it was, Karl?
I think this is all politics. I think it is multimillionaire Tom Steyer, multi-billionaire, saying, I'm opposed to this. And Obama, remember, the State Department approves this tentatively. Hillary Clinton in October of 2010 says we're inclined to approve it. The State Department says in July of 2011 we're going to review it and finish our work by the end of the year. Barack Obama then announces that they're going to delay it. In December of 2011, the Congress, by a unanimous vote in the House and Senate, a unanimous vote, every Democrat and every Republican supporting a bill that the president signs that says the decision is due in 90 days. And what happens is a month later, the president says, I reject the first application of TransCanada, the pipeline company. They got to apply again. But again, look, the oil is coming from up here. It connects, the two pipelines connect here in Alberta. The red line is the Alberta Clipper. This is the Keystone XL pipeline that's approved. The difference is right now we have tar sand oil that is coming to the East Coast refineries by connecting into the pipelines that connect with the red line. What we're missing is the opportunity to bring it to the even larger petrochemical refineries that are in Texas and Louisiana and Oklahoma. Now, why does this matter? It matters because by forcing it to come by rail, we're raising the cost of the products that are distilled at those refineries. Everything from gasoline to you name it is costing more than it ought to because it's being brought on very expensive rail cars that are far less safe than a pipeline. And why the president is doing this is beyond me. It's dissing the Canadians.
It's interesting stuff. Yeah, very interesting.
It's unbelievable.
Supporters are saying, listen, the Middle East has given us heartbreak and heartache, and ISIS is doing what it's doing. Every bit of energy independence helps America. I'm certain you're on board that. And even though this is just a small piece of that, it would indeed help as well. That's what Republicans and some of the Democrats who support this are arguing, Karl.
Absolutely. And one other geopolitical point. This would reduce our reliance upon the heavy crude, similar that comes out of Canada, that comes out of Venezuela. It would allow us to further crater our opponents in Venezuela, the despotic regime there that is anti-American and is fueling instability in our own neighborhood. So it makes a lot of sense. We could have hemispheric energy independence. Canada, the United States, and Mexico together as a unit could be hemispherically independent. We wouldn't be we need to be. We could export natural gas to the rest of the world rather than being importing energy from the Middle East.
Is it over now? Is it dead? I think the Senate needs four votes to override the veto. I don't know if they're going to get there or not. Quickly,
they're not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to override the veto. But the president is obligated to make a decision. He can only stall so long. At the end of the day, the State Department announced today that it will begin a process that will allow them, within a relatively short period of time, to make their finding. Every finding by the State Department to date has been that this pipeline would not have an adverse economic environmental impact.
Started in 2009. 6 years ago.
2008. September of 2008 is when TransCanada applies.
Thank you, Carl. Interesting discussion. Thank you. Live in Austin there, Carl Rove.